The Indiana Fever basketball squad finds themselves in a precarious position regarding their chances of securing a spot in the 2025 WNBA postseason. What initially appeared to be a promising campaign has transformed into a challenging uphill climb for the franchise. Early expectations for this Indiana team were exceptionally optimistic. Many analysts predicted a deep playoff run, possibly extending to championship contention. The roster seemed equipped with the necessary talent and chemistry to make a significant impact. However, current circumstances paint a drastically different picture, with even basic playoff qualification now appearing uncertain. Happen after that, about 2 to 3 weeks after that, guess what? Sydney Colson and Ari McDonald goes down immediately. Acutely sealed to the team. Now they don't have a point guard. Now they have to sign another hardship contract. Then, you want to know what happened? They get Chloe Bibby, and now they got Addison Sims. Seemed like, Stephanie White really don't know what to do. With Chloe Bibby or Addison Sims, because your lineups is all over the place. Now, I am here to tell you, with them not knowing a timetable when Kayla Clark is going to come back, this is not good for the team's struggles began when their star player Caitlin Clark suffered her first injury setback. This initial blow was followed by 2 additional injuries to the same player throughout the season. The most recent injury proved particularly devastating, as visible distress on Clark's face during the incident suggested the severity of the situation. Compounding these difficulties, approximately 2 to 3 weeks following Clark's latest injury, both Sydney Cox and Ari McDonald sustained injuries, effectively eliminating the team's point guard depth. This forced management to pursue hardship contract signings, bringing in players like Chloe Bibby and Addison Sims. Coach Stephanie White appears uncertain about properly utilizing these new additions, resulting in inconsistent lineup decisions and rotational confusion. The absence of a clear timeline for Clark's return creates additional uncertainty for the organization. Media reports have begun questioning whether this squad can maintain their playoff positioning without their cornerstone player. Various publications are exploring scenarios where the Fever might miss the postseason entirely. Currently positioned at 6th place in the standings following a disappointing defeat to the Dallas Wings, the Fever occupy one of 8 playoff spots available. However, this position remains volatile, as teams can easily move up or down in the tight race. The top 8 teams advance to the playoffs, making every game crucial. Rock Hassan's basketball guru guys getting picked is, through it all, the team has been able to steady the ship. No, they haven't. However, given how much things happen, the WNBA ready right now, they remain as they schedule stretch is looking spooky. Indiana Fever's currently 6th in 6 weights following a short abandoned loss to the Dallas Wings. The top 8 teams make the playoffs, but the position is hardly set in stone, as the team still has the opportunity to. Analysis of their remaining schedule reveals significant challenges ahead. Matchups against stronger opponents like the Las Vegas Aces appear particularly daunting, while games against teams like Seattle present more manageable opportunities. The defending champion New York Liberty would likely present overwhelming opposition if these teams meet in the first round. The team's upcoming schedule includes a home game against Washington, followed by a road contest against Connecticut, who currently holds the league's worst record. After a week-long break, they face Minnesota twice before hosting Seattle. Their final regular season contest is scheduled for September 9th. It is stone, as the team still has the opportunity to move up or slide down. Now this is the current standings. They're in 6. They're not beating the Valkyries. They're not. Well, they might beat Seattle. I could see them beating Seattle. They're not beating the Valkyries, and they definitely ain't beating the Stark. The Sparks. They ain't beating them. They ain't beating the Mercury, which we're going to go over their schedule. So as of right now, the Fever would match up with the defending champion New York Liberty. They're going to get smashed by the Liberty this time. So, Ryan Rucco, Coach White has indicated that the week-long break represents the potential window for Clark's return to practice. However, given the circumstances and timeline, this return appears increasingly unlikely. Statistical analysis reveals the impact of Clark's absence clearly. During the 20 games she missed, the team compiled a 10-match-10 record, with an overall mark of 18-match-15. Projections suggest they could have achieved a 23-match-10 record if Clark had remained healthy throughout those games, potentially positioning them much higher in the standings. Looking at the remaining fixtures, several games appear particularly challenging. Matchups against stronger teams like the Minnesota Lynx seem likely to result in defeats, while contests against weaker opponents like Connecticut offer better winning opportunities. Games against the Las Vegas Aces, Phoenix Mercury, and repeat matchups with Minnesota present significant obstacles. The current 6th place standing leaves little margin for error, as the team sits just 2 positions away from falling out of playoff contention entirely. Their final positioning will likely determine whether management chooses to rush Clark back into action. Strategic considerations suggest that Clark's return depends heavily on the team's playoff seeding when she becomes available. If the Fever can maintain or improve their current position, particularly reaching 4th place, her return becomes more likely. However, if they slip to 8th place or lower, the organization might choose to prioritize long-term health over short-term playoff hopes. A 4th place finish would provide the best-case scenario, offering both playoff security and potential for a meaningful postseason run. Remaining in 6th place creates uncertainty, as it would likely result in a first-round matchup against the top seed like New York. Falling to 8th place would make Clark's return highly improbable. The franchise's championship aspirations, once considered realistic, now depend entirely on maintaining their current position while hoping for their star players' healthy return. The team's remaining games will determine not only their playoff fate, but also whether fans will see their marquee player return to action this season. With multiple challenging opponents remaining on their schedule and continued uncertainty surrounding their best players' health status, the Fever face a critical period that will define their entire campaign. Success requires both maintaining their current playoff position and receiving positive news regarding Clark's recovery timeline. The organization must balance immediate competitive needs against long-term player health considerations, making decisions that could impact both this season's outcome and future championship windows. Every remaining game carries heightened significance as the margin for error continues to shrink. You've looked overseas. At least Rashid Mazian has been around Europe and he knows that. And it's not just Europe, it's players in Australia, it's looking in college. We literally signed Yvonne Ejim because she was a record breaker in Gonzaga, which isn't again the highest level in the world. And we just out not signed. We drafted Yvonne Ejim for that reason. We drafted Bree Hall because she's Aaliyah Boston's friend. Like, why are we not just draft Sita Fulter at this stage? Why not just let Caitlin Clark go get an Iowa player? And the way these are going, the only positive is that we might go and draft Haas. The Indiana Fever organization faces serious structural deficiencies that raise questions about their long-term viability as a competitive franchise. The current operational model appears unsustainable, particularly if they expect to retain elite talent like Caitlin Clark. The most glaring issue centers on the complete absence of professional scouting infrastructure. The franchise currently operates without any dedicated scouting personnel, a shocking reality for any team claiming championship aspirations. While other WNBA organizations also lack formal scouting departments, successful franchises find alternative methods to evaluate talent comprehensively. Minnesota's Cheryl Reeve demonstrates proper talent evaluation by personally traveling throughout Europe to assess international prospects. Similarly, other successful executives maintain extensive networks across various leagues and collegiate programs. These leaders understand that identifying talent requires systematic evaluation rather than relying on casual observations or personal connections. The Fever's recent personnel decisions highlight this scouting deficiency. Recent draft selections appear based more on personal relationships than basketball merit. She cares more about basketball than anything else. People are like, oh, but she didn't leave Iowa. Yeah, because Iowa was a good situation for her. She had teammates she respected. She had a coach she respected. And I do think that Stephanie White, Caitlin Clark respects Stephanie White as a coach. I think there is frustration probably covered with basketball reason things, but she does respect her as a coach. But like, I don't want to beat a dead horse at the Kyra Lambert thing, but she hasn't even played remotely close to the WNBA. One player was chosen primarily due to her friendship with an existing roster member rather than her individual capabilities. Another selection came from Gonzaga despite limited high-level competition exposure. These decisions suggest a concerning pattern of casual evaluation rather than professional assessment. The organization's approach to international talent acquisition proves equally problematic. Their recent signing from the Greek League raises serious concerns about evaluation standards, she hasn't even played remotely close to the WNBA level. The highest level she's played at is, in the last couple of years, is Greek League, which is terrible, which is just playing empty arenas. And she was asked, how does she prepare for joining the Fever? Now, we heard that Ari McDonald literally hadn't even practiced with the team as she knew all the Fever sets. She was asked how she prepared for joint fever, and she said, and she was literally given a layup, "Did you watch the team sets?" I'm not joking when I say this. Greek basketball operates at a significantly lower competitive level, with games often played in nearly empty venues. When asked about her preparation for joining the team, this player's response revealed inadequate knowledge of team systems and strategies. More qualified alternatives existed in the available talent pool. Several players with superior credentials and experience levels remained unsigned, while the franchise's self-proclaimed status as a premier organization contradicts their operational reality. True premier organizations invest in comprehensive talent evaluation systems, maintaining detailed profiles on potential acquisitions across multiple leagues and competition levels. They prepare contingency plans for various scenarios rather than scrambling for solutions when problems arise. Professional organizations maintain backup options at every position, complete with detailed scouting reports and acquisition strategies. They understand that successful roster construction requires constant evaluation and preparation rather than reactive decision-making based on immediate availability or personal recommendations. The coaching staff finds themselves in an impossible situation given these organizational limitations. Expecting coaches to simultaneously manage game preparation, player development, and talent evaluation creates unrealistic demands. Professional scouting allows coaching staffs to focus on their primary responsibilities, while personnel decisions receive proper evaluation from dedicated specialists. When Clark initially suffered her injury, the organization should have immediately activated comprehensive contingency plans developed through professional scouting. Instead, they appeared to pursue the most recognizable available name without proper evaluation of fit or capability. It was absolutely terrible, but I'm just like, for me, I just don't understand how. I don't understand how the Fever are out here signing a player from the Greek league. And you know what? I kind of do understand it because, again, we've talked a little bit about it in another video. When we talked about it in video earlier, when Stephanie White basically just said that we scout. This reactive approach demonstrates the absence of strategic planning and professional preparation. The broader WNBA landscape shows similar scouting deficiencies across multiple franchises, but this reality doesn't excuse organizational mediocrity. Teams claiming championship aspirations must distinguish themselves through superior operational standards rather than accepting industry-wide shortcomings as acceptable benchmarks. Only the New York Liberty currently employs dedicated scouting personnel, highlighting the competitive advantage available to organizations willing to invest properly in talent evaluation. While other teams may operate without formal scouting departments, successful organizations find creative solutions to maintain competitive evaluation standards. The absence of professional scouting infrastructure represents just one symptom of broader organizational issues. The pattern of casual decision-making, reactive personnel moves, and inadequate preparation suggests systemic problems that extend beyond individual player acquisitions or coaching decisions. Clark's commitment to basketball excellence may eventually conflict with organizational mediocrity. Elite players typically gravitate toward organizations that match their competitive standards and professional approach. The assumption that geographic preferences or team loyalty will override competitive considerations underestimates the priorities of championship-caliber athletes.